Hey guys, I miss y'all. Hope everything is going good. I wanted to be about to rain. We'll hurry through this. So if y'all check out the remote learning packet, we're almost done, y'all. We're starting our last unit this week, and then you're finished this week. Congrats. So today we're gonna go through slides 1 through 16, and then y'all are gonna work on unit 10 of your 4 ACT accounts. If you have not already completed that section, if you have, great. I would still review it because our last unit is on radiology, and it's really hard to teach that, 1 in the classroom, but 2 remotely. So we'll see how it goes. Pulling up the PowerPoint, which will be posted on Edmodo for you guys. So getting into radiology, it's not something that you get to see a lot as an assistant in the clinic, which is probably why it's our last unit to go over in the curriculum. It's not really a whole lot that you can do in terms of helping, other than kind of like knowing a bit of the logistics and how things work. Radiology is used for diagnostic imaging. So going through completing radiographs, ultrasounds, endoscopies, to be able to try to look inside of the animal and figure out what exactly is going on. Ultrasound diagnostics, the way ultrasound works is it uses ultrasonic little waves to view images of the internal organs. So most commonly, ultrasounds are going to be used for looking at pregnant people or animals. The sound waves will bounce off the patient and create an image moving back, kind of like an echo with the tissues, so that you can kind of see what's bouncing off of the patient. If you're looking for puppies in a dog, then all those little puppy fetuses are going to bounce off of the sound waves and create an echo that's going to be produced on the screen. The transducer is a little tool where they put the ultrasound gel, and the transducer is what kind of sends the sound waves off and then works to catch the echoes that come back to it. So an endoscopy is a visual exam of the inside of the animal's body using, guess what? An endoscope. So the endoscope is a series of like these little tiny glass rods that work to project an image through a light source. So we do have this short little video to watch. I think it's like 1.5 minutes of a dog endoscopy. So we're gonna watch that because this is the closest I can get to trying to teach you guys more about it. So there's the image being picked up by the light. The camera, it's got like this little very fine rod that can be used, and it can move around so that you can see in just about any kind of direction. The dog is obviously sedated because it's not gonna like having that in it. Depending on how far you want the endoscopy to go, depending on what you're looking at, it can either be used to check out like respiratory issues or sent as far down as the gastrointestinal tract. Sometimes it'll be used in conjunction with a biopsy to be able to go in, 1, and look at things, and then 2, grab a piece of tissue to be able to try to test things out. And that is what we'll end up grabbing. Not as glamorous as you think. Okay, so radiation safety is a huge, huge, huge thing. Standards for being safe are set by OSHA and the Department of Health. Because radiation without the proper protection can end up damaging cells, and then some cells are more sensitive than others. So if you're working in a vet clinic doing X-rays, then even just a small exposures over time can end up causing problems. So, oh my goodness, of course. So this is another short video of X-rays being done at the Indianapolis Zoo. We take pride in the care we take of the animals in our collection. One tool that's essential in the medical treatment of the animals in our care is X-rays. All right. So there's a lot of really great uses for using X-rays. You can see tons of different things, and they can be used for, I mean, honestly, a huge array of things, not just broken bones. The dosimeter is really, really important for measuring radiation exposure, and it has to be worn by anyone that's going in contact with X-rays. And it just reads how much radiation they're coming into contact with, if it's an acceptable level, if there's any, if it's way too much. It's really important because we can't see radiation, we can't feel radiation, so the dosimeter is really important for detecting it. When you're doing X-rays, you have to wear lead aprons, gloves, shields. you want to protect yourself, and that lead helps to protect you from any potential high amounts of radiation. Equipment used for taking X-rays. Y'all, it is about to rain at my house, and I'm trying to hurry up. Cassettes, the screen, an X-ray log, the X-ray machine itself, and a coulometer. Continue on because I don't want to get rained on. Terminology. Radiopaque is what you see when the X-ray appears white to light gray in color, and it may indicate there's like hard tissue or that the exposure was too low, because you can set how much exposure you want when you're taking the X-ray. And then radiolucent is maybe when your exposure was too high and it causes things to appear dark or black. Radiolucent things could also mean that it's soft tissue compared to hard tissue. MA, for short, is the number of X-ray beams that are passed in a certain amount of time, like tiny little seconds. Kilovoltage peak is the strength of the X-ray beam. Lateral view is how the animal is positioned on the side. And then ventrodorsal is if the animal is on its back. So basically if it's on its side versus on its back. Dorsoventral is if the animal is on its stomach. If it's on its stomach, then you're probably going to be looking for something on the back. Oblique is if it's positioned at an angle. Anterior posterior is the X-ray enters or starts at the anterior, starts at the head, and moves back. Contrast mediums, your most common contrast medium is going to be barium sulfate, which is this white powder, and it's used to work to pick up different things in the X-ray. So barium sulfate is really, really common if you're trying to see things in the digestive system. It's a powder that you give the animal, and when it enters the body, it coats the digestive system. So if you've got a dog that it's not eating, you're concerned something's wrong with its digestive system, you can give it some barium sulfate. It'll line the digestive system so the digestive system more easily shows up when you're taking those X-rays. And then lower GI versus upper GI, super straightforward. Basically, are you looking at the lower gastrointestinal tract? Are you looking more at the intestines? Or is it upper GI, meaning you're looking at like the stomach area? Animal restraint, most commonly, you're going to keep them on right lateral recumbency. So their right side, this is my right side. I don't know if it's y'all's right side, but right on their side. Because that's just the most common. Lateral is easy so that you're able, it's when the animal is thinnest, because you want the animal to lay as thin as you can so that you don't have to turn the exposure up too high. So you want the animal on its side is going to be the most easy way to do that. And it's also, you're not going to have to try to see through the spine up here. You're just going to have to try to see like through the ribs. The technique chart, basically it's a list of settings. This could be the technique chart, based upon the thickness of the area you're trying to see. So depending on how thick the area is. Is it a little dog? Is it only like 9 centimeters? Is it a huge animal and it's like 25? And that will depend on what settings you have to have your X-ray machine set on. You can do the grid technique or the tabletop technique. The grid technique is basically where you're going to have, it's like lead bars, and most often the grid is going to be built into the table where you're putting the animal to do the X-rays. So the tabletop technique, not really super common, I guess I would say, especially for small animals, because the grid is already going to be built into the table. The film doesn't come in contact with the patient, and the radiation source is lower because you have that lead plate on the animal. With the tabletop technique, the cassette does come in contact with the patient, which the cassette, we'll get into, I guess, technically what the cassette is. Basically, it's going to be what holds where we're going to have the X-ray. In the tabletop technique, the cassette does come in contact with the animal. And all right, last slide. When you're getting ready to do the X-rays, checking out the settings. Obviously, you got the on-off switch. You've got the timer for how long you want to be taking X-rays. Two of the more important settings are the KVP knob and the MA knob. So the KVP knob increases the penetrating power of the X-ray beam. If it's too low, then it's going to look whitewashed. It's not going to have enough exposure. If it's too high, it's going to be overexposed and it's going to be way too dark. That's why you have the chart right here that gives you kind of guidelines of, okay, if the animal laying on its side is 15 centimeters thick, then you more than likely need to set the KVP, and you're taking, if you're taking an X-ray on the thorax or the abdomen or the spine. If you're taking an X-ray at the thorax, then you probably need to set the KVP to 88. However, if you're doing an X-ray at the spine, the KVP probably needs to be 57. And then the MA knob manages the number of X-rays that are produced per unit of time, so how many little X-rays are being shot to try to capture images. This is more of a standard number, depending on where it is you're trying to take X-rays. So, it's hard to teach this. I do not like the radiology unit because I don't have a lot of experience with it. Y'all don't have a lot of experience with it. So make sure you're doing Unit 10 in your 4 ACT account, because this gives you videos. This lets you learn more than what I'm able to try to explain to you through a computer. We're going to work on Unit 10 this class and the next one, so you don't have to completely work through it. I would try to do like half and half, so you're not just sitting down one day like just trying to get through it. Just split it in half and try to work from there. If you haven't done it yet, if you have, I would review what it is we've gone over today that relates to what's in Unit 10. But other than that, no like formal assignment. Just work on your 4 ACT stuff. Let me know how things go. Hopefully I will get to see you guys on Tuesday or Thursday for Zoom. And we will see how things go. Bye, guys.